it's a business that you understand quite well. You know how to build it. It's the origin of your brand. So it's the core of your business.
Right.
And since it's the core of your business, you know how to run it very well. And the cycle that you're in, because you have enough SKUs, you've covered a lot of flavor profiles. Can you introduce more flavors? Of course you can. But you have flavor profiles. So it runs in a cycle where you start by plan, right? And then you execute and you review whether you did it well or not, or you use ChatGPT or you have a chat amongst yourselves, and you adjust, right? So, and the game is, how can you do this faster? How can you become more efficient at it? How can you become great at it? How can you operationalize it? And how can you just run it faster? Now, in that retail world that we talked about, this thing takes months. In the online world that we talked about, let's say marketplaces and D2C, this thing takes weeks. In the quick commerce world we talked about, this thing takes days and hours. It has a very fast feedback loop. You can adjust it very fast. So you can get better and better. And that's why you can grow those businesses much more exponentially. But this is the essence, and you keep running it because you know what you're doing. You have a product, you have product market fit, you have lots of ticks in the earlier framework type of thing. Be fast is something new that you're trying. And mostly, let's call it, this is the chutneys, right? And here you don't know what you don't know. And because you don't know what you don't know, the game here is not to do this, because you could start executing something which is useless, right? And that's a very, very fast way to blow up money. So what you will do is you will run experiments. You'll run A/B tests, right? And you'll keep A/B testing. You'll do A versus B. B will work. You'll ditch A. You'll do B versus C. And that could be in flavors. It could be in bottles. It could be in shapes. It could be, I don't want to do chutney, I want to do something else. Type of a thing, right? And this is pretty, and as you're doing this, you're moving away from your core, because the core is you started as a pickle brand, Papa's Pickles, and then you move to Little Farm, and then you do chutneys because it is a condiment in some sense. And ketchup is a foreign condiment. Right? Ketchup is a foreign condiment. And here basically you have no clue. So here you should not be blowing up a lot of stuff. So it can be either be bold, or you can say that, I want to see whether it's going to survive, and if it doesn't survive, I'll kill it. But here, basically, you'll try it because you think there's something to it. But you can also use this as a framework for capital allocation now.
Yes, sure.
So 70% of your capital, attention, time, energy should go here. And what I've seen is this will become 90% of your business, close to 85 to 90% of your business. And this usually ends up being maybe 7 to 8% of your business. And this will be 2% of your business, but you'll get 10% of your time. Why? Why is this important? Because if you knock something out of the park here, it transfers to this.
Very quickly.
If you learn how to do, and very quickly. And if you learn how to do this well, it can move here. So it is important not to give this up. You have to have, and as a new brand, you have to have these ideas. You have to do ketchup, even though you started as a pickle brand, or you have to do some good idea that someone told you, because they are good ideas, and you know food, you understand, you're a foodie, you love food, you understand the taste of the target audience, you are in the target audience now, and you know how to move it. So I would use this, and this is basically bets, but here basically I'll give you a term we used to use many years ago for this, is make a little, sell a little, learn a lot. So don't make too much, because you'll get inventory and cash stuck in this. And then you move through this, and you can use this as a basic frame. You can change the name, just the names are not important. But protect the core, run it well, but don't swing the pendulum completely this way that I only want to do 8 pickles and with that I'll do everything. No, it won't happen. Life doesn't work that way. But don't be in the temptation to be super excited with all this. This is the most exciting stuff. This will become the least exciting stuff. But this is where the cash comes from, and this is where the money comes from. So you need to allocate your time, resources very well amongst these things. It will answer your go deep versus go wide, but this be big will also be go deep, because you have a core business and you need to go deep and win in it.
Yes.
And you need to do both together. The answer is not or. The answer is to develop a framework to do multiple things. And generally, you will super under resources.
So this puts things in perspective. Like, I can already see the imli chutney going from be fast to be big. Like, it's worked. So that gives us more space here to experiment.
Also, I agree with this fully. And it's a mirror to me also. Arjun has told me this also multiple times. As founders are, by design and DNA, are 0 to 1 people. right?
Correct.
We are excited about new things.
Correct.
Something new, कि कुछ नया बनाया मैंने, कुछ
agreed.
chili oil दे दिया मैंने. I want to try something. It's so this 70-20-10 will quickly become 10-20-70.
Yes.
ये
Yeah.
boring है. हो गया यार कितना आम का पिकल है, ठीक है हो गया, same taste every day. You will only get bored of it, and it's natural. But for founders, it becomes very tempting to make that 70%. So, and you'll always see the moment you're excited about something, you'll be selective about the information you're getting. You'll be like, so many customers came and told me they want chili oil, there'll be 15 of them.
Yeah.
There won't be so many, but you will give so much importance to those 15 because they are validating a bias that you have for your.
Exactly.
Right? But the arm pickle is what is putting food on the table, literally.
Yes, agreed.
Right? So that is where you have to resist natural instinct.
So this is where I get excited. So he has to tell me that relax.
And by the way, this also gives you, doing this, the be big part of your business very well, gives you the cash to do the other stuff.
Yes.
And gives you the wit to do that. But if you focus completely on that and this collapses, then your company will go.
He's going to ask you at some point, कि ठीक है तुम करो, पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे उसके लिए? तो इधर से आएंगे पैसे ना, P&L से आएगा.
Yeah.
तो वहां से निकालो 10 लाख, 8 लाख लगते हैं, तो 8 लाख वहां से निकालेगा निहारिका, 8 लाख तुम आम पिकल से निकालो, फिर अपन चिली ऑयल करेंगे. That's broadly how the discussion should eventually be if this framework is followed.
I think that makes complete sense in terms of at least the ketchup, and that it gives me clarity there. That even if I'm moving away, that's experimenting for me.
And moving those products into Be Big is actually the, you're right, it's food, right? Once you've entered a kitchen, you don't be condiments for the kitchen. Entered with one thing, you should sell them 4, 5, 6, 7 things, right? For the family. And you will have to see, यार ये family है, इनको ये दोनों चीजें पसंद है, तो ये तीसरी चीज बना लेती हूँ मेरे लिए.
Also, maybe a little different, but how many SKUs do you think one should have to do things efficiently? There is no limit?
As few as possible.
Yeah, you should be lean, right?
As few as possible. Every SKU adds complexity, adds inventory. So as few as possible.
So if we know something's at the tail end, it is giving us revenue, but it's not giving us significant revenue, we should turn that out and put in something that is
In Be Bold.
get our winners.
So
basically.
I would take out the tail and use that SKU with and working capital and everything to try and discover new categories which can blow up.
Understood.
Or discover new things which can blow up rather than chasing the tail, going through the pain, having one SKU somewhere, not having productive, not meeting MOQ.
Because it takes energy,
It takes energy,
effort,
yeah.
it takes stock keeping for no reason.
So I think the question to ask in the tail SKUs, can I make a business out of it? Can I make it into a big, highly performing top 5 SKU? If the answer is no, then you always are taking out your bottom SKU and getting something brand new which has the potential to blow up.
The complexity increases here a little for us also is because QCOM, different SKUs are doing well, and website, different SKUs are doing well. Because website's more of, I would say, pull marketing, and QCOM is what the person searching for it anyway comes ahead. So a lot of my mentors, investors have always told us, be lean, cut down all the SKUs, but this framework puts it in perspective in terms of that at least with new launches, where do I experiment and where do I stop with the experiment?
Yeah. No, I think it's, the thing with investors, and very rightfully so, is that they will want founders, like even with Arjun and me, he will always tell me it's very exciting to do that, but be focused, because founders are easy to distract. However, the one balancing thing that I have found is that one variable to optimize is founder focus on capital, bandwidth, mental, kind of focus, etc. The other is founder energy, right? A lot of times these two are not in full correlation. What is founder focus sometimes takes away from founder energy. Someone like me gets a lot of energy, for example, doing podcasts or doing, stuff that helps the business, but also I derive a lot of energy in these conversations or a new brand launch or a new product launch, etc. I have to balance these two, because for long-term functioning of me, both focus and energy, so you have to balance that. So this framework will help you also balance. So don't feel guilty or कि मैं कुछ गलत कर रही हूँ when I get excited about chili oil. You should be excited about it, because your excitement and your energy is what drives the business. That is what drives your team. That's what drives your supplier, your buyers. That's what drives your consumers. You should never compromise on that. You should always know how to channelize it, and then as a capital deployer, return to shareholder, which is in this case mostly you guys.
Correct.
You will have to kind of say, okay, fine, ये सब ठीक है. This is all extracurricular.
Yes.
But this is
capital efficiency will come in from there only.
You have to manage both. It's not a or.
Yes.
It's an and. And think of it as a left brain and a right brain, and you need to do both things. Without innovation, you can't grow your business, because you are, by definition, you're a new brand, you're an innovative brand, you're going to come up with things which other people can't come up with. So you have to come up with them. However, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have a very high failure rate. And therefore, what you need to do is you need to set yourself up in a system in a way that when you lose very small. And when you win huge.
Yes.
So in business, that's all that matters. Because your loss rate is always ahead. There is no business in which the win rate is ahead of the loss rate. And anyone who tells you that is lying. They are lying to you.
Makes
Or
sense.
they have no idea whether they're winning or not. More important, even worse, right? So you will have a very big loss rate because you can only win big if you lose a lot. So you have to set yourself up a system to lose again and again, but lose very small in a very controlled manner with very little cash, very little inventory, and a limited mind space. And then when you win, when you win big, you have a system to scale up very fast. And you have to keep building that muscle and system to scale up very fast, which is coming through your pickles business. And that's the way I would think about
But
it.
having said that, when you say when you say lose small, that doesn't mean you make half-assed efforts at
Yeah.
it.
Correct.
Put full effort for that small period of time, and then if it's working, move it quickly. Otherwise, it's not working.
Yeah, we internally discussed 3-month review should be there for every product in terms of how it's doing, at least when we put it out there.
Yeah, first 20 customers call up
Yeah.
yourself. Like that's the DNA clearly you guys have. आपको sense आ जाएगा. And right now you launched 13, but at the 50th product, you both will probably have an instinct कि चलेगा नहीं चलेगा. वो ingoing hypothesis होगा. You'll also get sharper and sharper with your be bold stuff.
In terms of be bold, now the second question, where do we take our bets? Condiments or anything?
थोड़ा right to win देखो आपकी.
Yeah.
Where does Little Farm have right to win? Not for you, but for your consumer.
Right.
For example, I'll give you my example. Bombay Shaving Company has right to win in hair removal and shaving. We started with that. So moving to trimmers and electronic appliances that remove hair was an immediate right to win.
Right.
Moving to shampoos was not. Both sit in the bathroom, but like, and me being bald has nothing to do with it. Like, had just no right to win, right? Soaps, limited.
Yeah.
But fragrances, because we had an aftershaves and all of that, similar bottles.
Sort of goes in the same cabinet. also.
Yes. Face washes to some extent because shaving creams, face washes again sits together, right? Similar fragrances, you put it on your face and so on. So you have to know as Little Farm कि consumer को मेरा आम का अचार पसंद आ रहा है तो consumer को शायद मेरी coriander चटनी पसंद आएगी शायद. They're eating it in the same like चाय के साथ.
Correct.
It's whatever, right? But that consumer will tell you. In my view, you will not know this.
And come back to the business that you want to build, right? You're very articulate and clear about the business that you want to build, which is it just tastes just like home.
Yeah.
So if you cannot make something taste just like home, you should not be in that business. So if you're going to go into, as you said, a plain spices business, maybe that's not the right extension to go into because you want to not process the food, but you want to get to some kind of an end output which has an impact, right? And then you have the other 5 things that you talked about. So you can just use that as your own framework which you develop that doesn't take these 6
Yes.
boxes.
Makes sense, yeah.
And if it doesn't take the 6 boxes, I won't try it. It doesn't make sense, right? So will you make samosa? I don't know. I don't think so. Like samosa, right? You won't make it. You can't sell it in quick commerce. Maybe you can someday. I don't know. But you may not do that. But you'd rather, if your sauce works, will you go into different kinds of sauces? Right? Maybe you'll go into different kinds of sauces, Chinese sauces or whatever it is.